Now I want again to talk a bit about Jung and Freud. Like I explained in court, was there anything that I could use psychiatry for? That was when I lived in Vine. I explained that I got conscious about because I got a piece of paper and the assignment was, I think she was just a social worker who had knowledge about cognitive therapy. It's what you think, it creates your emotions. And then I was to write down what convictions did I have about myself, what do I think about myself. And I realized it was so much negativity. And I'm not aiming at my mother because she's not, uh, I do not live with her, and I think she has changed a lot since then. But she was very isolated, and she didn't have friends, and because my father died, and my father's family turned their back on her, on my mother, and so she said to us children, we should have never been born, and we were so annoying and yelled and screamed at us. So Freud talks about ego, it, the ID, that's the subconscious, and the superego. So the superego is the integrated, internal, then parent, that everything you learned in your childhood about how you're supposed to view yourself, what kind of behavior you're supposed to, what rights you have, and things like that, and how you're supposed to control your behavior. Now, I'm not talking about reactions to harassment because I've never acted that way before, being so angry and having to throw around things or banging my head against things because of frustration about harassment. But I'm talking about how it was, like I also explained in court, that those convictions, they are not good because they keep you down, and because you do it yourself, you're in an internal fight with yourself when you have those wrong convictions about how you're supposed to view yourself and what kind of behavior is. When it's if you have parents and it does not make sense, who are narcissists or who have a lot of psychological problems and they take them out on the children, then you have to clean up the mess and get rid of those convictions and then define them yourself. When you do that, you do not fight with yourself in your mind and thinking, "Oh, I'm not good at that. I'm so annoying." And, oh, I'm so. It's aiming at yourself in your thinking. So that's what I explained. And then there's the subconscious. That's well, that's more of the emotions. So when you clean up in the superego, the integrated parent, that is what regulates behavior and how you think about yourself, then it affects the subconscious as well, and it affects the ego, how you act and your who you are as a human being when you treat yourself better. And then there's Jung, that's the collective subconscious. I do not think we are connected to YouTube and videos we do not know anything about, and that we're supposed to be stuffed into videos and in some sadistic way, but that I can see that history repeats itself in culture, movies, especially, maybe politics sometimes, songs, that old movies are rewritten, and then I think that could be the reason why, because there's so much repetition and the same discussions and same things repeating themselves, that elderly people become demented because they think they experienced that before, and they are a bit, they have less energy, they're tired, and they then they suddenly feel subconsciously that it affects them subconsciously, that they think that it's the 1930s or 60s, or that they are that they are living with their parents, and then they become demented. If they uh, if we keep doing that, repeating, not moving on, and that people judge other people before they know them, because of the collective subconscious that are historical persons and characters from movies and um, religious characters and all kinds of characters. And then they are rewritten, or something is flipped upside down. Suddenly the good is the bad, and sometimes they switch. Like after World War, I think too. Before, pink was a color for man that signified masculinity and power and things like that. Then they flipped it around, and pink was a color for girls. And I also think, like I've talked about before, that Cleopatra is the patriarch, that somehow they flipped around because she was so powerful and such a good leader, and made her as a matriarch and and then they turned that around and made women the matriarchs, maids are the martyrs. Maybe during witch hunt, I don't know. Blah blah.